that time.
Right
but
on.
actually, good to be here. And, another day down and only 2 left. Only 2 left.
Right, I know. Yeah, it comes and goes. Right,
It's incredible.
It's not even 3 full weeks
right.
that they're there. So this is the second full week, and it's the last full week. Big news yesterday, of course. James Cook, the hold-in has begun. I said earlier, like I could not think of an example. I would guess it's probably happened that a guy in a situation like Cook, unhappy with his contract, shows up, starts camp, and then decides, you know what, this isn't going like I thought it was going to go. I'm going to sit down for a little while.
Yeah, I can't think of it either. I'm confused.
But here we are, and I have to think, I don't know that I'm right, that maybe Cook and his representation thought, look, just go in there, smile, right? Say all the right things, do your work, and let me work over here with the GM and the football, or we'll figure something out. And that still hasn't gotten them close enough to the finish line, and so now he's taking action. What's your reaction, first of all, to what he did yesterday?
Well, partly confusion because of what you just said, which is, well, you showed up to mandatory minicamp, and even though you said you showed up because you like your money and you didn't want to be fined,
right?
You also said because you want to be a part of a team, you want to help the team win the Super Bowl and all that. Great teammate, all those, check those boxes, right? Great. Then, even though we were speculating what could happen, you still showed up to training camp. And it was like nothing ever happened. Like, literally, the first day of camp, yes, was it a story because we asked? Was it a story because we had to figure it out and report on it? But honestly, there was just like, he was a regular guy on the team. There was nothing else to it.
Yep.
He just showed up like everybody else did. Guy going to the last year of his contract. Heck, Connor McGovern's going to the last year of his contract. No different. Guy shows up, goes to practice. So that becomes a non-story. Since then, there's been nothing about this. Like, literally nothing for over a week. And then we get out there, and even Sean McDermott doesn't say he's not practicing because he gives us the injury report. Now, maybe he knew, maybe he didn't. I don't know.
Right.
He wasn't going to say James isn't practicing today to his contract. I wouldn't expect that.
Right.
But we didn't know because we walk out, and he's on the exercise bike. And I'm going to be honest with you, Bulldog, it's so far out of left field to happen after 9 days. I thought he had a vet rest day.
Right. Sure.
I'm like, oh, he must be having a vet rest day, and they didn't give it to us.
Keep the legs fresh. Right.
I didn't know. And then we're trying to figure it out, and no one knows what's going on. Sure enough, credit to Elena Getzenberg of ESPN.com, Catherine Fitzgerald, the Buffalo News. They went up to him after practice. They saw him, and they said, what's going on? Why didn't you practice? Business. Now, bam.
Now it's a
and
thing,
then
right.
Brandon Bean tells Jeremy and Joe this morning, he didn't know until practice started.
Which makes me wonder just about how constant this communication therein is, by the way.
Right. So you're right, because you would think at some point maybe the reps would say, listen, my guy's he's got to do what he's got to do. So
right.
If we don't get something done here, he's going to take a seat. He's going to be there, but we
right.
can't let it happen, right? I think it's just confusion. I agree with you, though, that to me it always read, go do your thing, show good faith. We're gonna get this done. If you do this, we'll get things. Show how good of a teammate you are,
right.
and they'll work it out. And it seems like that has not happened. So therefore, now he takes the next step in the next measure.
Right. Is it? Well, it's always worth guessing what the next move is, but I don't. I think the most likely next move is I don't know, in a few days, maybe in a few weeks, he returns to practice. Right? Like I don't think that the Bills will suddenly come to a realization. They're like, yeah, you know what? Actually, we hear. What do you want again? Here it all is. I just don't think you've gone this far. I just don't think the threat of him sitting out practice is going to move the meter much for them. I could be wrong. I'm not sure what the next move is other than he makes a point, and now everyone knows he's this level of unhappy, but nothing really changes, right?
That's right.
The PowerPoints here are all the same. Like, the Bills still have maximum leverage. Mm-hmm. The only leverage Cook has is withholding his services, and that's never, like, for actual games, I mean. And that has never been that realistic to me that he would get that far.
Agreed. I mean, this could be like a baby pool. Like, when you guess what date the baby's going to arrive, like, what date will he actually be back in pads practicing with his team again? Because you could look at the benchmarks and make kind of different opinions or assumptions on when it would make sense and when he might do that. Is it at all during the preseason? Is it at all before they wrap up the preseason, playing a preseason game? Probably not the way this is going. Let's just say there's a stalemate still in the contract and they don't get real close. You get there. So then what happens? Does he actually start practicing before they play their first game against the Ravens, which would give them about a week and a half, right? Think about a week and a half, 2 weeks to do that. I don't know. Because if all of a sudden you're not practicing, if we go out there, not the week of the Ravens game, but maybe a few days before that, and he's not practicing, I'm starting to wonder, like, they might just have to make him inactive even if he does show up.
Yeah.
Like, he's not practicing. He could show up like, well, he missed all this time, and we've been working Ray and, Ty Johnson.
You want to give a guy ramp-up time, too, right? Like, to just...
I would think so. I just think it's kind of like there's a lot up in the air here. There was speculation yesterday. Tom Pelissero reported they weren't that far apart, and I was like, wow, it's kind of new, right? Like, that was a...
Yeah.
Where's he getting that from? Because that doesn't seem like it's right, but hey, maybe. And then I think listening to him today made it seem like that is not the case.
No,
I mean, he didn't come out and say that, but it seemed to me like Brandon Beane, the way Brandon Beane talked today, I came away thinking they're no closer than they really have been. Yeah,
my read is the same. We could both be wrong, and I'm not here to assail Tom Pelissero's reporting, but my first guess when I heard that was agent, like just trying to create some urgency, right? Like fans are calling radio shows. I heard they're not that far apart. Come on, figure it out, right? But yeah, I would guess that isn't really the case myself.
And then it gets to, well, if they are getting close, you understand from one sense, which is it's like a hockey player getting traded. You take him off the ice the day of the practice.
Right.
So he says, I don't want to get hurt. I'm close to signing this deal, so I just don't want to go out there and risk anything that day. And, of course, I think the team would still kind of honor it, something like that. But whatever. I totally get that. So there was speculation about that. I mean, there was speculation about maybe he's involved in a trade package.
Yes.
I don't think that's
right.
the deal. No, I agree with you that the agent probably is more apt to leak that to make his client look good, that he's not holding out because he's not holding in because they're really far apart and he's trying to make a stand.
What he wants is outrageous.
Correct.
Right.
He wants to create oh no, we're getting there. We just need to get over the finish line, so give my guy a little bit of leeway.
Yeah,
here.
if they're close, then his ask must be reasonable.
Correct.
Is the way that ends up, I think, looking in the end. So, I mean, I know we've been talking about this on and off for months already, right? Ever since the eyeball emojis on the $15 million tweet, whenever that was, late January, early February, whatever. How big a deal? Like, if James Cook were to be traded, if James Cook were to just literally go home, what does it do to the 2025 Buffalo Bills in your view?
I don't think any win-loss market is getting impacted. You can ask your guy Sammy P when he's on or somebody like that. I don't think that's the case. I think that the Bills lose.
We can do that on Friday when you're with me. We're going to talk to Sammy on Friday.
There we go.
Anyway, go ahead.
I think the Bills lose some dynamic ability at a position on offense. I think overall, having Josh Allen, having the offensive line they have, I don't think that it should preclude them from winning a lot of football games. They have guys in the backfield they trust, guys that have done a good job. Look, we talked to Ray Davis today. By the way, Zach, I put Ray Davis and Ty Johnson in Dropbox for you, so there you go. So we got the sound from them. And I say that because there's some good quotes in there from Ray Davis and Ty Johnson about James' situation. They don't want to really speak on his business part of it,
right?
But they're both very supportive. Ty Johnson said he's handling his business like a man, and I respect that. He's a man who's handling it like a man. I respect that. Ray Davis said, look, I'm just going to control what I can control, and, he's got to do what he's got to do, but I got to be ready to play, essentially. I asked Ray about, you had this opportunity against the Jets last year. Let's go back to that game. Let's remember that game. Ray Davis and Ty Johnson, they were the guys against the Jets on a Monday night. And, yeah, I know it's the Jets. They weren't the best team in the league. Good defense, though. The Bills ran the ball really well. First drive of the game, they went down their throats, and they scored. I think the Bills are very confident in the guys they have behind James Cook that they can go out and win a lot of football games.
Yep. That's very much how I feel, and it ends up, I think there's no way to not have it shine a less than complimentary light on Cook. I like Cook. Cook's, I think, a very, very good player. and mattered a lot to this team last year, but I think some other running back could matter almost just as much if they got to the point. You're losing, what are you losing? You're losing the runaway from DB's ability that Cook, I think, really flashed last year for the first time. Do you remember that? I didn't feel like he had the extra gear.
No, but I do remember 2 training camps ago, not last one, but the one before that, I remember almost every day, Joe DiBiase and I would be talking, and I would say, Joe, I said, every day out here, James Cook busts off a big run. Like, every day out here. Like, that started to percolate. I don't know how many he had that year, maybe 1 or 2, but last year it seemed like 1 a week last year.
Yeah.
It seemed like 1 a week. And that wasn't just in the run game. If he got a pass or something, he could do that. That's the funny part about it. I know Jeremy and Joe talked about this morning. They're right. He comes into this league with this reputation as this big high pass catcher, swing out of the backfield. I mean, they don't get J.D. McKissick, so they draft James Cook. If they sign J.D. McKissick, they don't even draft James Cook, most likely, right? So he comes into this league, we got to have a pass-catching running back, another option out of the backfield. His first year, when he was really getting time, that was kind of how they used him, and he dropped a couple passes. By the time he gets to 2.5, 3 years in, oh no, he's a running back, and we can use him between the tackles, and he can be a guy that we can kind of do all this other stuff that we didn't really draft him for. But the pass catching hasn't even been the strong suit. He's dropped passes. That's what Ty Johnson comes in for.
Right. And his pass blocking is a problem for him being on the field on third down, seeing the end of the Kansas City game. So it all just adds up. Let's get to your best of training camp today before I forget, because I will, before I start talking about Khalil Shakir's injury. The best of training camp is brought to you by Northtown Automotive. Get a Northtown Engine Shield engine protection warranty on new and used vehicles.
It's a double best of. It's on the field and off the field from the same guy. He made a play, and one of his coaches talked about him even before that. It's a guy you know I love. Who do I love in this team? He's been here for 7, 8 years now. I've been talking him up for many years, and it's one of those guys I'm so glad I was right about.
Cam Lewis. Bobby Babich talked. If there's any thought that Cam Lewis isn't on this team, shut it down. The way Bobby Babich talked about Jordan Hancock and then morphed into talking about Cam Lewis, essentially he said, we could even, I don't know if you have the clip on it or not, Zach, I can even play it, but Bobby Babich talking about Jordan Hancock. He was asked about Jordan Hancock. He said he actually called Jordan Hancock last night, Bobby Babich, defensive coordinator. He said, yeah, I called him. I try to stay in constant communication with my guys. And my message basically was, you're doing a great job. We love your progress. You have to be more buttoned up on the details. It's the details, he said. And it's hard on a guy who's trying to learn multiple positions, right? It's like, man, but he's got a little bit more on the details. Then he kept going. He goes, he's a rookie. He's a rookie. He said that twice. And then he said, but he's got the best guy to learn from. There's a guy right there next to him every day in that meeting room. Look at Cam Lewis. Look what Cam does to our team. Look what he means to our team. That guy can play multiple positions, never complains about a darn thing, goes out there and does his job every single time. That's a guy who's on this team. I don't care. At the end of the day, if Jordan Hancock, you think he's a cheaper Cam Lewis. No. He's a guy that they want to be like Cam Lewis someday. No doubt about that. Then Cam goes on the field, and he picked off Josh Allen in a red zone drill and made a great pick over the middle. I don't know if Josh was trying to squeeze it into like a slant, and Cam was right there, and he made the pick, and that was like, okay, Bobby Babich talks about him. He has that. That's my best stuff. All right. That totally works. Were you thinking about that the whole way in here?
No. As soon as you mentioned it,
You're such a pro.
I'm thinking, what did I see that was really cool today? And that stuck out to me a couple of times.
So the bad news from Friday, Khalil Shakir, high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to I don't like asking you to gauge their level of concern. I mean, Sean McDermott will tell you he's concerned about everything. If the grass isn't growing at the right angle, he'd be worried about the grass, which is, that's a football coach's life. But that, like, I'm trying to remember. It's August 4th, not September 4th, right? Week to week, fine. I've got time. High ankle sprain, that can linger. But I'm trying not to overreact to the injured list because it's still August 4th. But Shakir was that's the guy on that side of the ball that I think you just think, I can't lose that guy.
Off the top of your head, what do you think were the worst two to you? It doesn't have to be statistically. Worst two Buffalo Bills offensive games of last year. Off the top of your head, do you remember
Well, the Baltimore game was pretty bad. No, the Houston game was worse. Josh's numbers in the Houston game were horrendous. The Baltimore game had a big play to Shakir that was kind of a broken play, but still, whatever. It was a big play down the field.
But those two games?
Yeah, I think so.
What's the common denominator? Shakir got hurt in the Baltimore game in the first series.
Okay, right.
He was not right that game. He got loose, but he was not right. He missed the next week. The common denominator of last year having the 2 worst offensive outputs you've had all year, Khalil Shakir wasn't a part of the game. I think that speaks volumes of what he means to this team. Now, what did they do in the offseason? We got to build around what we're doing. And not build around Khalil Shakir, but give more options to the offense. Because I think what happened was last year, Shakir does so many little things right for them that he becomes such a weapon at all different levels of the field that he allows other people to kind of be in different spots and you can create matchups. You lose Khalil Shakir last year, suddenly everybody's in a box. And it's way different and way easier to defend the Buffalo Bills. We're going to put this guy here, that guy here, and we're on you, and we're going to come up and press you or whatever. That's what I fear when I think about Shakir this year, although I do think that they enhanced their wide receiver core with different abilities now with Joshua Palmer and Elijah Moore, and you hope Keon Coleman takes a step and Dalton Kincaid's healthy. But look, I mean, I think that this is a big deal if Khalil Shakir's out. And ironically, it's against Baltimore week 1, right? The same team that figured out, what do we do? Okay, Khalil Shakir's not right. We're going to get up in your face. We're going to press the hell out of you. We're going to come after your quarterback. He got beat up that day, by the way. Josh did. And that's a team the first week you play that if he's not as healthy as can be, you better have some more options you did last year. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that is definitely not a guy they're rushing anywhere.
No,
right? It's gonna
it's good. It's good that Khalil's been in the league a while. He's dealt with this injury last year. He dealt with the same injury, and he's such a hard worker. Like you don't have to worry about a guy like that. When he's ready, he'll be ready to come right back in, I think. You don't have to rush him back. You don't have to even I would say, yeah, you want to do right by the ramp up time, but even with a guy like that, maybe the ramp up time is a little less.
Yeah. How about anything from Friday night else that stood out? It sounded like Coleman had a lousy start to the evening practice and then really shined later on.
It was great. His second half of the practice was great. His first half, Josh 7-on-7. Josh hits him right in the hands on a comeback route. Doesn't hold on. A little bit later, Mitch Trubisky over the middle, crosser, great 20, 25-yard gain, doesn't hold on. Then later, makes a fantastic catch with Christian Benford, of all people, right on him. And he literally, what I loved was Bulldog, and on the stream, people can see it, high bullpen, but people listening can't. I mean, he blocked him out with his left shoulder, and the way he angled himself that Christian couldn't get there was just the kind of thing you want to see from Keon to understand body. Understand where his positioning should be.
Use your advantage to your advantage.
100%, and that's exactly what he did. He got that. It was great. So, yeah, that's for sure. I mean, a little concern here. I don't know what they're going to do Saturday about kicking. Are they not going to kick a field goal or extra point? Because Tyler Bass has not kicked in a week. And they have a game here in 5 days.
And there's not a backup
6 days.
kicker, right?
There's nobody else on the roster. But Friday night, Ray Davis had a couple of kicks.
Was kicking field goals, right?
I mean, unless you put Ray Davis in there to kick. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do. But I'm thinking they might not kick a field goal or extra point Saturday because you're just recovering. Your kicker's recovering, right? Don't put him in a situation where there's live guys coming at you.
Right.
And you have to, that could be a thing. That was something that stood out to me. And then there was a lot of talk and chatter about Josh Allen not participating in 11-on-11. He came out. He took warm-ups. Fans saw him. There's a lot of kids there. People want to see him. I get it. You go there, you want to see Josh Allen. I asked Sean McDermott, what was the reason? He said, look, we have 4 quarterbacks. We got to get them all ready. And basically, they were using Friday night to give Mike White a lot of opportunity and reps because I'm assuming preseason Mitch will get a lot of that early on. We'll see. We don't even know. Josh might play Saturday. We don't know. Sean said he didn't make a determination. But that's why Josh didn't really get a lot of run on Friday night was because they're trying to ramp up their other quarterbacks because they have to get some time coming up there in the preseason games.
Also wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I know in front of almost 40,000 people on a Friday night, maybe not the best time to give him rest, but, quarterbacks at all ages can use a break during camp,
Matt Milano and Tre'Davious White didn't practice that night, right? I mean, and you don't know. Maybe that's because they're on turf. They have some injuries they're recovering from, things like that. There's a lot of things that go into all this stuff. So it's Saturday's it. You get back out there, and Saturday they're going to I don't know. They have a lot of injuries right now. A lot of injuries. By the way, today, update. Bale Inspector left practice today. He's got a calf injury. I mean, I've been telling people Bale Inspector has really looked good, the fact that he's on the field, but you can't trust him to be on the field. And here he is again. He's hurt again. And this just really opens the door for Joe Andreessen, who I think already should have been the guy and would be the guy. But there was a battle there, no doubt. And now Joe has all of that kind of opportunity in front of him.
Right. And didn't the name of the veteran, Shaq
Thompson. Yeah.
Did he get dinged?
He did. He didn't practice today either.
Okay.
Good news, Taylor Rapp returned today, though. Taylor Rapp returned. Taron Johnson had a vet rest day. Deion Walker was sick. He did not practice today. And Dane Jackson was out with a personal excused absence. So nobody added with the injuries except until Balin Spector got hurt.
Right. Today. Right.
Today.
Shakir
Nobody
from
added.
the
Nobody
weekend.
added.
Right.
That's right.
Right. All right, Sal. Nice to see you. Lovely.
You too.
All
You
right.
too.
We'll talk, every day
this
from
week,
now
and
until
then
the end of time, I suppose,
then
right?
we'll be together on Friday night, right? Friday afternoon.
All right, training camp.